For today's review, we are looking at the second figure in the Crisis on Infinite Earths build wave, and that is Psycho Pirate. Now, my memory of Psycho Pirate is very limited. I don't remember much of what he did in Crisis except for being the one who betrayed the Monitor and siding with the Anti-Monitor. That's it. I haven't read this comic in a long time, so forgive me for not remembering too much of what happens in the story. And yeah, but I've seen this character before. I remember he was in the Justice League animated series. He was part of the whole Legion of Doom thing, if I remember correctly. He was in that scene. He just showed up. He didn't talk or anything. He was just one of the villains in the background. And I think he's a villain, right? Well, he definitely is a villain. He sided with the Anti-Monitor. What am I talking about? Okay, since we're talking about that subject, let's take a look at the data profile card so we can find out who this character is. And you have this nice artwork of something very tragic looking, like he doesn't look good. And Flash looks very, I don't know if he's angry, sad. It kind of matches like the two things on his costume, like, like a tragedy happened in a play. And you have all this destruction going on in the background too. All right. Okay, so his real name is Roger Hayden. In the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Psycho Pirate's particular abilities came in high demand. He was approached by the Monitor, who enlisted him to use his Medusa mask to call other essential personnel to defend the universe, who may otherwise be reticent to join. I don't know how to pronounce that word. But it wasn't long before Psycho Pirate betrayed the world's defenders to join the Anti-Monitor. Okay, see, that part happens. After being promised a world of his own in the aftermath. Oh. When the Anti-Monitor fell, the crisis was resolved and the world was remade. Psycho Pirate remained one of the few beings who remembered the Infinite Earths, a knowledge which drove him insane, committing him to a life in Arkham Asylum. Well, that's a way to end. So, basically, your actions have consequences, and that's what happens to this character. Tragedy unfolds, and as punishment, he suffers from horrible memories of remembering everything that happened and goes insane. Wow. Crazy. Okay. As I said in the last review, all the figures in this build wave, right, all four of them, each retail for $39.99. You would assume that Psycho Pirate may have some accessories. Maybe. Like Kid Flash here, at least had 2 pairs of hands. Yeah, still not worth $40. This is crazy. I don't know why these are overpriced. Well, Psycho Pirate has no accessories, which is even worse. He has no interchangeable hands. Not even you can call it an unmasked head sculpt, right? Without the mask on. Nothing. And this was $39.99. And you paid this price because you needed the torso for Monitor? This is crazy. I still really want to know why this was overpriced. I hope there's like an actual reason behind this. No matter what it is, it's still a bad reason, okay? It's still bad. In my opinion, this is still bad practice. Like, I hope that we don't see another wave like this ever again where it's overpriced to mega fig prices, right? So, yeah, and this leads to aesthetics because, what are you getting for $40, right? Well, you're getting a figure that reuses an existing body mold, which we've seen before quite a few times by this point when this figure came out. So this was when they started to reuse this particular body buck more often with a good amount of figures. I think this was, I don't remember how many figures before this was reusing this body buck, but I know it was definitely from the Booster Gold Blue Beetle 2-pack. This body buck was definitely reused by Deadman, if I remember correctly. I think. I could be wrong. And there were like a few other characters that I remember also used this maybe before or after. So for $40, you're getting a figure that's reusing the mold. Everything is just painted on, right? in the same color. It's all glossy. There's nothing crazy going on with the paint. And on the back of the figure, it's just all red. There's no continuation of the paint on the front. So like this checker pattern on this costume does not go all the way to the back, which I would think that it would, right? Usually. So no. You get this nice head sculpt of him in his like Medusa mask. I think that's what this is. Yeah, that's it. And then you get this nice cape, which I think is the only piece that isn't reused. This cape and this head sculpt. And this waist piece is just retooled to give him a new belt. But everything else is reused. And just painted like the usual DC Multiverse figure. So, how is this $40? I don't know. Not good, right? But, you know, I like the checker patterns. I still like this figure for what it is. But again, I think if this was charged the regular price, people wouldn't complain. You know, like most of us would be like okay with this because we'll be like, yeah, regular price, no problem. But $40 overprice? What the heck is going on? So, and I'm going to be repeating this point throughout these reviews because, yeah, this is not good. And looking back at this, it's just like, what happened? I don't want to sound like I'm repeating all the time. I really don't. But, you know, you got to call out the BS when it's there. So, but yeah, that's basically aesthetics. There's nothing more I can talk about except for the fact that it's very glossy looking everywhere, right? Especially the cape. Look at how glossy that back part looks. It is soft PVC, so that's cool. It's not like a super thick PVC. It's just in the right balance where it's like kind of soft and not, you know, too, yeah. All right. Now we can talk about articulation because, you know, you got articulation. We got to talk about what the articulation is like. So, of course, as usual, his arms can't go up. They can go all the way back because this part right here is soft, so it doesn't hinder the articulation. He does have, I believe, double joint, though it's not really working on this arm. Let's try this one. Yes, he does. I do need to heat up that arm to loosen it. He also has your usual swivel here and articulation here, so standard right there. He also has a swivel up here, so there's that. As for his head sculpt, he does look up. He does look kind of down. He does move his head side to side like that, or turn side to side. This collar piece does get in the way for certain angles if you want him to look certain ways. Keep that in mind. As for his torso, very, like, not loose in a bad way, but it just moves better than some torsos do, which is very surprising. He can crunch a little bit forward. Some torsos, again, don't crunch forward that great. He can lean back. His waist is also moving pretty good. It's not so stiff, so you can get him into some dynamic poses if you want to. I forgot what he can do as abilities, so I don't know if he fights or not, but, you know, do whatever you wish to do in your photos if you do figure photography. As for his legs, they do kick out pretty good because, you know, this piece right here is actually soft PVC compared to the previous figures we looked at where they were kind of thick in the under half of it, right? Now, some figures can kick out like higher than this, of course, but, you know, this one's still not that bad. It's okay. As for his legs down here, they do double joint, so that's good. And he does have articulation down here as usual. That swivels and toe articulation. And as for how far his legs can spread out, that's pretty good. Not too bad. So articulation, of course, is standard. As usual with some of these figures, how they articulate. So nothing too crazy, but of course this one has a better kick, so that's always nice when the figures can actually do more with the way that their articulation gives them compared to some other figures. I don't know why the articulation always varies depending on the figure mold, but that's just how it is. So there is that. All right, let's talk about comparisons. Let's compare him to some figures that he may go well with. So if you're trying to recreate this pose for a photography, kind of, you can, not exactly, well, he would go well with the Flashpoint Flash, which is basically a classic Flash figure. So, pretty cool. So you can put him next to him if you want to. Or if you want to have him with his wave mate, in this case, Kid Flash, you can do so as well. So, not too bad. And if you want to have him with, I guess, the big, good old villain himself, I think I might have to zoom out for, yeah, I definitely have to zoom out for this. Well, there you go. There is good old Anti-Monitor next to him, which, oh, does he not want to stand? Stand? Okay, we're good. Don't fall. All right. There you go. So, not bad. So, yeah, you can find a place for him. Or you can put him in your villain shelf, right? That's another option as well. You can put him with Luthor, like that scene in Justice League animated series where the Legion of Doom are all meeting every single villain, right? So, depending on where you want to put this guy. And that is our look at Psycho Pirate. I really don't know what else I can say about this figure. It's a good figure for me to add to the collection, of course, because I don't have any version of Psycho Pirate. But again, not worth $40. This is crazy. Well, I paid the price, all right, because I wanted this wave. But, you know, I just hope that they don't ever pull a stunt like this ever again. Please don't, please. All right, if you found today's review informative, Psycho Pirate, do give this video a like. If you want to see more action figure content or whatever else I post on this channel, you can subscribe. You don't have to. In the end of the day, I make these videos for fun. And with that said, take care, and I will see you in the next video.